Hello citizens and welcome back. In today's video I would like to discuss some of the features of the upcoming cargo refactor and what tools CIG could make to make cargo running a bit more pleasant and strategic. What would that require and how it could be done. As always, if you like this video, sacrifice a like and a comment to the YouTube algorithm and subscribe for more. And here's a shout out to our amazing patrons for their support of the channel and the armory. So, from the recent AMA and some other official statements by CIG, we know roughly what is the extent of the 318 portion of the cargo refactor. For now, it mostly has to do with how cargo is presented in the game world and how it interacts with other aspects of the game. But we know that ultimately it will touch many aspects of the game, including the economy, since all cargo will be physicalized and its ownership will be traceable. And this ownership tracking should be a part of the 318 release. Now, that last part is very important. It will eventually allow players to create the divide between traders and haulers. Now, what is the difference, you ask? Haulers, as the name suggests, haul cargo from point A to point B. Traders are the ones arranging the commodity exchange and making the actual trades in a more strategic experience. Up until now, both of these professions have been left on the back burner by CIG, with the state of trading being what it is. With the cargo refactor, many are hoping for this to change, as CIG have a tendency to make certain gameplay loops more profitable when they require testing. However, this might not be possible due to how supply and demand and commodity generation and consumption work in Star Citizen right now. In a nutshell, every trade location generates or consumes a certain amount of commodities per server tick. The amount can be affected by either commodities being present or absent at the location. On its own, this is not a problem. However, the inventories of every instance of a certain trading location are shared across servers. This has in the past caused issues with availability of goods across locations. CIG tried to mitigate this by increasing the available stocks, but this didn't help. Also, it didn't address the fairly low profit margins. And this won't be solved until the economy and quantum are more integrated into the game. However, in 318, CIG will be introducing a long-awaited mission type that would give at least haulers something to do in the meantime. Now, we don't know much about cargo missions yet, but I think the general idea will be that you load a bunch of cargo at point A and deliver it to point B, which is simple enough, tests the cargo refactor and gives people something to do that is somehow related to trading in a way that it basically replaces the role of traders with mission givers. Now, all of this is very nice, but let's take a look at a different aspect of the Star Citizen economy. Before I went off on a tangent about 318 and cargo missions, I originally wanted to talk about what tools CIG can give traders to help them with strategic planning. And before you go ahead and say that Star Citizen won't be that kind of a game that will require trading tools and spreadsheets to become a successful trader, just take a look at the economy features CIG promised. Star Citizen will be that kind of a game. However, I believe that the trading gameplay loop will cater to traders of all levels. But that's all we know so far, so let's get back to the trading tools. Now, there are a few trading tools out there already, but these are made by citizens. What I want to talk about is how CIG is going to present trade and economy information to players. First, we know that some amount of trade information will be displayed in your Mobiglass in-game. The problem here is that in my mind, developing Mobiglass apps is on a back burner since the whole Mobiglass system is awaiting rework and it likely requires an internal gameplay team to work on it. And that team effort is probably better used somewhere else at the moment. However, this is the most immediate way for a player in-game to see what's happening around them in terms of economy. It's the equivalent of you looking up stock prices on your phone, which is nice but doesn't allow much strategic planning or seeing patterns in the economy. The next step would be the large displays at major trading hubs displaying the same information, or possibly adding terminals that would allow you to preview some more detailed trading information and supply and demand in nearby trade locations. And I know that some of you will think of data running here, but I will get to that in a minute. This presentation of economy data more or less has the same issues as the Mobiglass app. However, using the building blocks UI, it could be fairly easy to build out these terminals and get them implemented. But it would still take the effort of a gameplay team that could be used elsewhere. But depending on what data is shown, it could be more useful for historical analysis and strategic planning. So what is the quick, easy, scalable, and suitable solution? Well, there isn't. But there is one that comes very close. CIG could display the data outside of the game on a separate part of their RSI page. Now, this may sound weird, but hear me out. It also has a couple of issues and I will get to that as well. First of all, the team that develops website features is completely separate from the game development, so technically this project wouldn't take away manpower from the game itself, which is great. A website can also deliver a much better user experience than a Mobiglass app or any in-game display, and can be updated and fixed much faster. And being able to access this information outside of the game is very useful for planning, and it will be much easier to display long-term historical data. There are some gameplay and balance related implications, but I will get to that as well. The first issue is very obvious. Where's the data going to come from? And the solution is actually very simple. In an effort to make server meshing possible, CIG are consolidating all economy and player-related information into what is essentially one storage. This should theoretically make it possible to access the data from the website, which is important for the second issue, which is what data should you be able to see? Now, we know that in-game you will only be able to see data for trading locations near you, and in-game your location is easily verifiable because your character is physically there. But the persistent storage also knows this, so the website can pull that information and display data that is only relevant to you. And here is where data running comes into play. Let's assume that data runners will be able to obtain trade information from various locations and then sell it to the major exchanges in the verse. So let's say that a data run will land and upload their data to the Lorville Central Business District. Across the data terminals, Mobiglass app, and the website, the users will be able to see the option to purchase the data for some amount of credits. And this will allow them to see the supply, demand, and prices at some location that would normally not be visible from their current location. Now, the next issue is the accuracy of the data that is shown. This is probably the most complicated aspect to the whole idea and the most difficult to balance. You want to make the website useful while making sure that players are incentivized to log into the game and look at the data there. I think the way to do this would be to make the website show mostly historical data and general information about what is bought and sold where and maybe prices as of some time ago. The in-game Mobiglass app and the trade terminal should show up more up-to-date information about current stocks and prices. However, a short time delay would still need to be present to prevent some exploits. One such exploit, especially once everything is in one server, would be a pirate sitting at the data terminal and checking for spikes in price of commodities at trading locations, which would hint at someone buying a large portion of the available supply, and then using that information to ambush the trader on their way away from the location. Now, do we need this right now? No, there are plenty of player-made tools that fulfill the role of the website as I described, but it would be quite nice to see CIG implement an official solution to this as well, as it would provide more accurate information and provide a good starting source for new players and would also integrate into the game very nicely. Though I think we will see an implementation of the Mobiglass app first before anything else is implemented. And with that being said, that's it for tonight. What do you think? Would you rather see trade data displayed in-game or on the website, or both? Do you think trading will be a game of spreadsheets and math or not? As always, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, fly safe, and I will see you in the verse.